One of South Africa's biggest stars, Nathi, just shocked South Africa by saying something along the lines of God not answering prayer. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's this particular part right here.
Yabo. I think mna bhuti wami uThixo
I think God
akayiphenduli imithandazo yabantu abamnyama.
doesn't answer the prayers of black people.
Yabo. Why ndisitsho?
Why do I say so?
Awukwazi ukuza kumzali.
You can't come to a parent.
Mandithi umzekelo if ndingumzali wakho ne.
An example.
Uno brother wakho okanye uno sister wakho.
Sure.
Then brother wakho ndimnike yakhe into mhlawumbe okanye ndimthengele zakhe impahla ikhala yempahla.
Now, he starts describing or explaining how he's come to this particular belief. Now, Nathi, as he is known, it's a very talented vocalist. Like, I remember when he's singing, like when I saw this particular story, it reminded me that of everything that I had, like before I got born again and before and after I got born again, his is one of the only CDs that I actually still have. A lot of the CDs that I bought and whatnot, I threw them away. His is one that I still have. This was a very powerful record. I think I was born again by this time. I think it was 2015 or something like that. And I remember this because I had traveled to a holiday when I actually got it. I still have it. I haven't listened to it, but I still have it. And so it was quite an interesting one when I saw this particular story, and I thought it would be beneficial for those that might think or believe this if we have the conversation. Now, I wanted to hear how did he say it. I only read the articles, so I'm only going to be hearing this part for the first time with you right now. It's actually the Daily Christian Commentary videos. All right.
Ndize wena ndikuthengele yakho ikhala yempahla.
So I buy your sibling different color and I buy you your own colors or your own clothes.
Njengomzali awusiza kum.
When you come to me,
uza unxibe impahla zalo. Unganxibanga ezimpahla ndikuthengele zona.
So you come dressed in the other person's clothes, not yours.
Ndikuthatha njengoba unjani. Ndikuthatha ngoba unenhliziyo ende.
Yes.
Yabo. So ndiyazi mhlawumbe kanye lo mzekelo uDom. But mamela pho
says maybe this is it's a bit of a weird example or a dumb example.
Yakhona.
Yeah.
Ndiye ndithi mna why abantu abamhlophe ingathi bayaphumelela thina singabantu abamnyama asiphumelela.
He says why is it that white people get prosperous and then us it looks like we are not going anywhere?
Ayingoba isystem eyasetyenziswa but nathi indlela esenza ngayo izinto.
It's not just the system, but it's also how we conducting ourselves.
Abelungu bathetha isilungu noba sebethandaza.
White people pray in English even when they are praying.
Yes.
Ayikho enye language abazuthetha Sotho xa bethandaza.
The ones pray in Sotho.
Wena nxa usiya kuThixo uya ngesilungu.
You when you're praying in English.
Ulindele uba uzokuphendula njani uThixo. Hayi ngokuthi akasi.
How will he answer you?
Isilungu wakunika ilanguage yakho.
He gave you your language.
That's why ufumaniseke ba izangoma maziye endumbeni. Uyabo noba kuthiwa mhlawumbe okanye uthwenga kangana uthetha isilungu kangakanani but xa isiya pha endumbeni ufike abize like izinyanya zakhe okhokho bakhe ngesizulu okanye ngesisuthu but wena mawuthandaza uNkulunkulu ufuna umthandaza ngesilungu ulindele ianswer P because awunikwanga uyayazi uNkulunkulu ukuthi wena ndokunike isuthu nanga umnikazi wesilungu so uzocela njani kum ngelanguage engeyo yakho.
There's a
powerful.
Now, okay, so his analogy is that if God has given you your own form of dressing, if God has given you his own, like your own language, and you come dressed or portraying the language of the other person, how is he going to answer you when you are still portraying yourself like the other one? Now, they say, what is that? What is flattery? Imitation is flattery. I think those are the words. So basically, why would God be angry at me for admiring my other sibling? If you think about it, it means that I have loved my sibling that much that I portray the things that they are given, language or whatever, dressing, and I portray that image. Like, I'll give you an example with myself. Between my mother's children, I was the first to get saved, right? So I got saved, and then my sisters got saved. But when I got saved, it made my sister start asking questions about salvation. And I became kind of like the reference point for that. And then later on, they became saved. And then when they would have difficulties in their faith, struggles, and whatnot, they would call, Ricky, what about this? What is your thoughts on this theologically? Because I was first to get saved. And so if they heard me praying, I remember at one point my sister had an issue with tongues. And she came to me and she said, is this a must, or why do I feel awkward when people are praying it? Because I don't have it. And so I had to explain it to her. It's a gift. It's good to desire, but don't play what you don't have. If you don't have it, wait till you get it, right? And so with that mindset, therefore, if God created both the white man and myself, and I am coming to a church with multilingual people, I'm coming to a church where there's Zulus, Sutus, and I'm speaking in Sutu, or I'm speaking in another language that's not my dressing, why would God not answer my prayer? Okay? If it applies on English, it should apply on Zulu. Right? But if God is choosing me on the basis of me loving and imitating my brother, there's a problem. We're not talking about God. You know? We can't be talking about God, because at that point, God is selective and is divisive. Is divisive because he doesn't like the love that I have or portray for my brother. You know, I get the thought line and everything that he's trying to portray and whatnot, but this idea that I must be only portraying my culture and whatnot and stuff, and also we live in a world which is multilingual. Okay, you might get to a place where there are Zulu-speaking people, Sutu-speaking people, and Tswana-speaking people. There are Tswanas that don't know Zulu well. They hear it, but they are not good. So if you start speaking that deep Zulu, you lose them. Okay? My stepdad is Zulu. And my stepdad, there were times when my stepdad would speak, I wouldn't hear him. So he started using simple Zulu because he realized that speaking that deep KZN Zulu doesn't help communication, so that we are not hearing him, but he's just speaking difficult, right? And so why be difficult? And so when we went to school and we learned our languages, but also we learned English, English created a barrier language where I don't have to ask when I get to a place. I can just speak in English straight. Even when I'm speaking to another person of color, when I get there, I speak in English because I don't know if I'm going to start speaking in Zulu and they don't know it. Make them feel uncomfortable or something like that, right? And so if I get to a place of work, if I get to Home Affairs, something like that, and I start speaking in English, it's not an offensive thing because English just created that lane. It's not just only speaking to God. It's not just speaking in the workplace, but it creates a language where it breaks barriers. I don't have to get to a Home Affairs and ask, what language do you speak? Do I know that language? I've just wasted 30 seconds of their life. They're not going to get back. If I get there and I speak in English, I know by the fact that you are here, you had to apply in English. You went to school in, because which means you have the common language. English is a common language. There are places where it's not the most spoken language, let's be very clear, right? But it is a common language. I can just walk out here and start speaking in English and almost everybody would hear me. It's only that 5%, that 1% that's not going to hear me. I'm talking about where I am right now. This is a workers' building. I stay in a workers' building. You can't step in here without a pay slip, And so English is that. I know we are on this train of, rediscovering African cultures, rediscovering ours. But at the same time, we shouldn't be ignorant to certain things. The fact that you're speaking in your language doesn't hinder the people that will hear your language, right? It doesn't hinder that. There are people that have gone international because they sang in a certain language. We know that, right? But also, if you make videos and you speak in Zulu and just Zulu, you're bound to local, right? But of course, there are people who only speak Zulu who have bigger platforms, right? It's because the Zulu people will follow that. Like I remember there's a comedian from KZN. The Zulu that they speak there is very deep. And so there was a period where I completely stopped following him because there was a kid there that used to speak and he was too deep. And so I can only listen so much until I don't understand and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm out of here, right? Because the language of it, I'm Venda, but I don't read Venda. Yeah, if I'm reading it, I take a pause first, read, I'm slow at reading things. Why? Because I learned the common language. The common language, it's easier to communicate the thing. It's not even that deep. So why would God have a problem with me coming to him speaking in English? Why? Because if I am therefore mimicking my brother, apart from the common language factor, if I'm mimicking my brother, why would God hate that I love my brother that much? Yeah, tell me what you think. I thought it's an interesting conversation, but also God is Father. Based on the example that he gave, God is Father. And then why would he have an issue with me speaking my brother's language? But maybe y'all have a different approach to that. It's the Reality Show with the Daily Christian Commentary videos. I thought this was worth sharing, and I'll see you on a later on episode. Y'all have a good one.